Yes, sir, Ski!
I want to start by saying that I didn't know that this existed on YouTube. I have a newly added anxiety to my life. I'll provide some context. There's always a back and forth, right? So like our PR guy, Mike Lissack, he'll always come up to me or he'll always text me, ESPN, TNT, whatever, wants you for mic'd up. And I always hit him with the same response. I say, no, they don't. They want Jimmy and they want Bam, and Jimmy and Bam don't want to do it. So I'm very self-aware of the fact that I'm probably their fourth option. We firing it up, and here we go. Mind you, I'm like shaking because I haven't seen this in a while, and I'm like deep secondhand embarrassment, even though I guess this would be firsthand embarrassment.
Hey, you want me to windmill something?
Right out of the gate, just talking about a dunk that I cannot do. Anyways.
Yeah.
You know, little pregame shakes. You know, each one with each individual player.
On,
when it comes to establishing a good handshake, I'm a big believer in like it kind of has to come about organically. Like some guys, you know, right away like, yo, we need a handshake. Let's do a handshake. But then it's like it can be hard to memorize that. I'm more of a fan of like what feels right. You know, sometimes over time, or maybe like some sort of inside joke is incorporated into a handshake. It's like a 2 to 3 week thing. If you can really establish it in like the preseason, by the time you get to the regular season, you're just really operating at a high level. Got to give my pregame daps to Coach Spo, of course. Great pass by Jimmy.
Hey, go right back.
I remember that one. I think that was actually my first shot of the game. Just came off a little light,
Right back.
but good looking out for Jimmy, just going right back to it. 2 for $1. We call
bad,
that.
boy. I got hit the
2
first
for
one.
$1.
Good pass, though. Early K9. Early K9.
It's funny. Sometimes when I see these videos on YouTube, they're like, oh, you know, look at Duncan's communication talking in transition defense. I'm actually saying early K9 because he went and got a bucket and it's early in the game. Like, look, you're getting to it early. So it has absolutely nothing to do with us, you know, being connected in transition defense. This is one of the first possessions of this game. I know that for a fact because I remember it. And it's also like at this point, I still remember that I'm mic'd up. So being mic'd up is an interesting process because they put all this tape because they wire it up right to the kind of collar of your jersey. And I'm a very particular person. You know, I have to have my socks a certain way. I have to have my tights a certain way. So when I feel the tape rubbing on my neck, it bothers me. I always tell our guys, listen, if I'm like 0 for 6 in the first half, I'm ripping the mic off at halftime. Like, it's happening.
Say ball. I'm loaded. I got you, K9, if you go.
I mean, this is just high-level defensive communication. Say what you want about my, you know, defensive limitations on the ball, but I mean, that's just some good chatter, as Gabe Vincent would call it.
No, we're good. Come on. Load. I'll take those. Oh, freak something. Hey!
I wonder who that was in transition. Probably some sort of dunk, which I seem to be a fan of.
Just, you know, if you want to elaborate just a smidge on freak something.
Yeah, sure. Freak something would fall under the category of basketball vernacular when talking about somebody dunking the basketball. I mean, like, so like, you know, instead of just like, you know, going up and dunking it, which is like all of my dunks, like I never freak something, if that helps provide some context.
Hey!
I will say one thing about the bubble that was great, because the benches were spread out the way that they were, oftentimes throughout the game. By the end of the game, everyone was kind of leaning onto that bench, and you just felt like a lot of bench camaraderie. It's something that I miss about the bubble.
Hey, that's what you do! That's what you do, Jay! That's my dog!
I also want to say something else. When you start playing basketball, like it's gonna sound very different to when I do a podcast. And I don't quite know how to explain this because like this obviously isn't how I speak, because you're listening to me speak now. But it's just like what happens throughout the flow of a game. I don't know why. But I mean, yeah, a lot of people would be like, you don't sound like that. And that's true, except when I'm playing basketball, then I do sound like that.
Yes, sir, Ski!
That's a Jay Crowder thing. When we got him at the trade deadline, he was saying yes, sir, Ski a lot. And, you know, I just kind of picked up on it. Especially when he did something well, it was like kind of like an acknowledgement to him, like, yes, sir, Ski. Once again, it just doesn't quite sound the same when I say it in like kind of like a flat monotone way. Anyways.
No let up, no let up. No let up. Come on, right here. Little run, right here.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I'm cooking now.
Yeah, I mean, I think this has been somewhat well documented. I don't really talk shit, but sometimes if I can like go to that place, like it just happens. And you know, I'm cooking has been something that I've used a lot in my career. That one goes back actually to my Williams College days.
Turn. Strong.
That was a play call, you know, just dialed into the, you know, Milwaukee Bucks play calls. Strong, they called it. It was like a cross screen for Giannis. So, you know, just trying to do my due diligence in the scouting report.
No, that's great. That's great. That's great. Great.
And that's all we got. Yeah, kind of a weird experience watching that. A little bit uncomfortable, somewhat nostalgic in that, particularly now, we're almost a year removed from that in the bubble. Some good memories from that, but also at the same time incredibly cringeworthy in that I don't like hearing my own voice.
Watching this back made you have second thoughts about doing it ever again?
I always think of it like this too, like you can never have enough like stuff to look back on, you know, like when I'm done in like 20 years and, you know, maybe my kids want to be like, what did you say during games? I got some mic'd up segments at least. I don't need a whole lot, but like just a little catalog, and I have that. This has been like somewhat uncomfortable, but kind of enjoyable. So I appreciate you guys watching.